Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS. Now it's real time, sponsored by the Mill Casino.
Sorry, daydreaming. Now we're going to join Big Dave Manners from Big Dave's Guided Adventures. I got it right. Dave, how are you, man? It looks cold out there.
Whatever. It's freezing, man. It is. It's just not as cold as it can get, but we're just coming out of the frozen rod stage almost right now. But yeah, we've been dealing with the frozen rod situation all morning. Yeah, so it's winter steelhead fishing at its best right now.
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about guides getting frozen up and guides on your rod, just like him being a guide getting frozen, there are some tricks you can do, but do you ever change things up to try to, mitigate that ice going through your guides? You go to mono rods for the morning, or you just fight through it?
Yeah, we pretty much just fight through it. I'll give them give the eyes a little squirt of Pam. That kind of works a little bit. I always bring a couple of thermoses of hot water too, and if they've been sitting for a while, I'll give them a little dip with that, and that'll usually get the reels working again for a little bit.
That's a good point. You got to make sure everything is grinding up.
I can tell you probably the most important thing I have in this cold weather are these flock-lined latex gloves, and I got a hand warmer in my palm, and on the top. And I got electric socks on too, so that's helping a lot.
Sounds like you're going duck hunting, man. Those are duck hunting tricks.
Yeah.
Well, how's the fishing been this morning, Dave? Are you guys, tough conditions?
Pretty slow. We maybe have had a bite this morning, but we're just getting into that time right now where it's warming up. We talked about this last time. Just a degree or two temperature change can make a big difference on these fish, and so that's right where we're at right now. The sun's just starting to get on the water a little bit more, and it's going to warm up. But of course, as the sun gets on the water, now we're even have to be a little bit more real sneaky, because it is so clear out here. So it's tough fishing right now. There are some fish around. I'm not catching a lot. I'm getting maybe one, maybe two a day, a few bites. You got to just be real sneaky and, looking for the right kind of water too. Like right now, we're kind of fishing a hole that I would normally fish for salmon. It's a big, deep salmon hole, and I'm fishing it deep, real deep. Also, that's kind of the other thing. The fish aren't moving as much right now either. So, kind of looking for the right kind of water where you might find some.
Now, you mentioned moving fish. So these fish in these conditions, low, clear, cold, they'll generally kind of keg up a little bit. Do you find yourself staying in one area for an extended amount of time? Or
if I'm, and a lot of times, as I'm fishing, if I float over a hole, like, we don't get a bite or I do get a bite, a lot of times I'll float over it after I go and I'll see what's in there. And there's been a few times recently where I didn't even get a bite in it, and I floated over it and saw 5 or 6 of them in there. And I pulled back over and just took a break for a half an hour and then started casting on it again, and then managed to get one of them to go. Oh. So that is another tactic. But, if you're going over the top of them like that also, don't plan on catching them for a while.
Yeah, well, that's a great point, though. You're not going to catch them every time that you get into a hole. Sometimes it takes, like you said, maybe a degree change, or maybe even a different bait or something that you haven't thrown at them after you give it a chance to rest a little bit. Because they can, like you said, it's so clear. It's like looking through the air. They can see all your offerings that you're sending them pretty easily, right?
Yes. They can see across the whole river right now. So, and that's another thing too with your offerings. I'm getting down into much smaller gear where I'm, my beads, I'm down to 8s and 10s, maybe 12s in the morning when it's still kind of dark, but smaller jigs, just smaller everything, real small presentations.
Now, are you also lightening up? You mentioned smaller presentations, lighter line. Are you doing that all the way throughout? Are you changing your main lines? Or are you just changing your leaders out to lighter leaders, 8, 10, 12, whatever it is that you might be doing?
Well, I can tell you one thing on my leaders. I'll drop down to some 10, but I don't go much below 12 anymore. And I used to go down to, 6 and 8, but with the advanced fluorocarbon lines that we have now. And here's the thing: you hook a big monster fish of a lifetime, and you know how that goes. You need every bit of line you can have. I mean, you get down to 8 and 10, you hook a big fish, your odds of landing them are getting down there. So 12-pound is about as low as I go. It's about as low as I go.
Well, that's a good piece of advice as well. Along the North Coast, especially in areas with broodstock programs, you've got some giants that are running around. To hook them with 8-pound, even 10-pound, you're just pushing your luck.
You're really pushing your luck. Yep.
Although there is an argument to be said, Dave, I'd rather get a bite than no bite. But you're right, that 12-pound fluoro, it does disappear. Depending on the different versions that you use from P-Line and others, you can certainly change things up. Now, I got to cut to a break, Dave. But when we come back, I want to continue talking about what you're going to do as the river starts to warm up. Because there's an old adage out there, I don't know if you buy into it or not, but that 10 to 2 window when things start to, temperature starts to go up a little bit, how things might change for you, all right? So bear with us. We've got decent connection. We got good reception here. We're able to hear him, but we're going to take advantage of that when we come back from this break, everyone. We've got Big Dave Manners live from the river, and I'm assuming he's got clients over there somewhere pitching baits. We'll see if they might get lucky when we get back on the air. Dave, don't... Be back in a minute.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by Chevy Silverado and the impressive Turbo Max engine. Flex your muscle with the strongest, most advanced Silverado ever. Official truck of Outdoor GPS.